Hey guys, and welcome back to the Minnesotan Sports Podcast. And I apologize. I realized that I never made my raw reaction. I had always planned on doing it, but I forgot to do it right after the game because there's so much going on. You know, it's Christmas Eve. Like, I was with my family. We were running around to do a bunch of stuff before my cousins came over. So I wanted to do my quick raw reaction here as the Vikings win another heart stopper, 27-24. And there's a lot of things I could talk about in this game. The first thing I would probably say is that Greg Joseph really proved a lot of people wrong in this game. Obviously, a few mental barriers that he had to overcome with missing some of those extra points. But it's now been, I think, at least a few games since the last big missed extra point. Because it definitely didn't happen with the Colts. I don't know if it happened against the Lions. Either way, some mental barriers you had to overcome. But then now he's made every clutch kick he's had to. He made one to win the game against the Colts, and now he nailed a 61-yard field goal to seal this one for the Vikings. And a lot of things to take away on both sides of the football. Obviously, on the defensive side, there was still plenty of situations where I feel like we could have been a lot more aggressive, even in the situations where we sent. I do like that we send more guys in this game. We did a lot more blitzing, and it did end up working out for us. But even with as much as we blitzed, we still can't leave the middle of the field as wide open as we sometimes leave it. I get the bend but don't break, and I do get that 24 points isn't the worst to give up for a defense. But that being said, still, I wish we would not be able to. I mean, it just felt like Daniel Jones. It's the same thing with every single week. Daniel Jones drops back, or whatever quarterback it is drops back. He looks for a few seconds, throws it dead center down the field, and someone's open. And that happened way too much in this game too, with the way the Giants' offense was kind of sputtering the last few weeks. We should have been able to shut it down a lot better than we did. But some good showing from some of the younger guys. Asamoah had that really good strip fumble. And then Justin Jefferson is just transcendently good, which is, kind of big thing to say, but it's really true. He's already set the single season record for receiving yards now in Vikings franchise history, and it's only been 16 games. Even if we're talking in terms of like, they didn't used to have that final game, we added an extra game. Even without that final game, he still could get more in this next game, and it would still count for that. And if you do count that extra game, that week 17 or 17th game that they added, Justin Jefferson just needs, I think, about 120 yards in these next couple games in order to get the all-time receiving yards record, and a bunch of people will dispute that because there's an extra game, but we'll cross that bridge if we get to it. All around, it was a game that was a lot like the way the Vikings have played football all year long. There were times when the offense just wasn't clicking, but then there was times we really figured it out. Justin Jefferson played amazingly. A couple other guys stepped up, like TJ Hawkinson, for example, in this game. And then we gave up a big play on defense and forced a situation where one of the sides of the football, in this case being the offense, had to march down the field and take matters into their own hands. And this one ended up in a clutch field goal for our kicker. So a really good game all through and through for the Vikings to win this one. Definitely plenty of things that we could improve, just like every single week. But we are now a couple games away from sealing the number 2 seed because now we're still a full game ahead of the 49ers. Again, they have the tiebreaker over us, which means that we do need to maintain that 1-game lead to keep the 2nd seed. But now we play the 49ers. I don't expect them to lose their next 2 games. They have some easier opponents, and we also have easier opponents in the Packers and the Bears. But you can never count the Packers and Aaron Rodgers out against us, so especially at Lambeau. So it's going to be a tough game. I expect it to be close, just like every other game has been. So really important game, especially because if the Packers do beat the Dolphins on Christmas Day, which would be tomorrow, when I'm filming this. If they do win that, the Vikings would have the opportunity to be the team that gets to knock the Packers out. Obviously, I'd be happy if they were already out, but that would also be a very interesting scenario. But all around, good game, and I'm glad I got to watch it. So thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you on the flip side.